So check out our interview. We had a great time. This is definitely one of my favorite bands of the year. Liked them even more. What a great bunch of guys.
Yeah,
So
turned out really well.
yeah, and I was interested to find out little details like how they made certain sound effects. It might just surprise you.
Yep, take it away.
Well, why don't you guys go around and tell me your names? Because I don't know if I know you by name, but not on sight.
Yeah, your name and what you.
This is Mark and I'm Stace.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's easy.
Yeah, I can start. My name is Rickard. I am a guitar player in Carnosus. Jonatan.
Yeah, that's me, and I'm the vocalist.
You I recognize from the video.
Mr. YouTube.
You're famous.
You can go next. I'm Jacob. I play drum. Yeah.
But not in his bathroom.
But not in his band.
And I'm Marcus, and I play guitar.
Okay, great.
We're missing one Marcus, bass Marcus.
But he's not joining us today, unfortunately.
And I say, how do you deal with two Marcuses? You have to have nicknames.
Yeah,
they also have the same
Big Mac and Mini Mac.
Ah. Okay.
You wouldn't be the first ones.
Yeah.
So, guys, really loving this album. I think it's gonna make a lot of end of the year lists for best. We see you coming up everywhere. You certainly caught our attention. So what were kind of the forces that kind of shifted the band's sound from kind of an earlier thrash metal to a more technical death metal style, and then keeping that same thrash speed? So kind of who was the architect of all that, or was it everyone?
So yeah, basically how we go about writing a music, it's mostly me who comes up with an idea, and then we use tabular software like Guitar Pro to write down our ideas and then pass the files around, and we all bring our different stuff to the table. But since most songs are initiated by me, it's pretty much the influence that I have at the moment that you can basically in regards to the music and the riffs for sure. So for the our first album, Dogma of the Deceased, basically I was on a real melodic death metal path, like At the Gates and Black Dahlia. I mean, I still love those bands, but we have ventured or expanded the things I bring to the table, at least. And for this last album, I mean, pretty much a lot of cattle decapitation. I binged at the time we started writing this album, and some psychotic as well. I mean, but yeah, I don't know that for my part, I think. I mean, we have all evolved as musicians. I should say that when we record our music, we basically do it at home because it saves time and money. And basically how we go about it is that we record our parts separately, and then we some parts that the other guys played or recorded I hadn't actually heard before the final mix. But I mean, we still have this we all trust each other, and I mean, we have played together for 12 years, and we know each other like so I mean, it's all trust and such, but I don't know.
The technicality, yeah, it just evolved over time. It just happened with what we listened to, and we evolved. Like, yeah, the technicality just, I think, or
Yeah, the heck. So when you're like kind of teaching them, you know, what your ideas are, do you guys have to start slower to learn it and then take it up to speed, or can you do it right away?
For me, it depends on the part. Like most songs, I just approach head on full speed, and then if there's some tricky like little part, I break it down, maybe take it down a couple BPMs, and yeah. But mostly, I just learn it full speed. I try from the beginning at least. I don't know about the other guys.
For me, it's kind of the same thing. You know, I go at it as it's supposed to be, but then if I realize that I'm, you know, not making it, I need to slow it down a few BPMs and really try and exaggerate all the enunciation and stuff to really get it like overkill. And then I practice it to a tempo that's faster than the final product will be, so that the real track feels comfortable.
I do that as well, actually, sometimes. Bring it up.
So you learn it a little faster, and then that way when you play at a regular speed, it's a little bit easier to execute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's some
exactly.
placebo shit, or it works. I guess. Like I practice with heavier sticks sometimes. So yeah, basically the same thing, I guess.
Kind of like doing leg lifts with ankle weights, and then when you take them off, it's easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What about, all right, so the name Carnosus, where does it denote kind of the subject matter of like meat and bodies and that sort of thing? And like, where does it
Muscles
come
and
from?
sinew. I love the sound
That's
of
kind
it.
of what we got out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Should I answer it or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
It means like an abundance of flesh in Latin. Like we wanted, or the original vocalist who came up with the name wanted something meaty, like a fucking meaty name. So they just looked up what meaty is in Latin, and that's it. Carnosus.
Yeah,
And
I
they
mean,
were,
it's suitable. We play
yeah,
meaty music, I guess. So
yeah.
it works.
Yeah. It's like
I
one,
haven't eaten a piece of meat in over like 10 years now. So, but it's a great band name.
and it's like one shade from Carcass. It's really close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a tribute. Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah. There's a bunch of bands with like the Carno
Yeah.
or the
And like
Carn
corn effects, and like there's a bunch, man.
Cariosis and
Yeah, yeah, that's another one that's close.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this universe that started with Dogma of the Deceased and kind of this one is a prequel. Are they all going backwards in time?
Jonathan, take it away.
So yeah, basically, on Dogma of the Deceased, I was just trying to come up with whatever. You know, we needed lyrics, and I sort of cast myself into this realm of a totalitarian tyrann or whatever. And you know, then I had to like figure out why is this stuff happening in this universe. And yeah, so basically, Dogma of the Deceased is like in the future where everything is going badly, I guess. And then our second album, Visions of Infinity, is sort of a prequel and during the same period, but in different like perspectives and stuff. But then this last album, Wormtales, is full-on prequel. So on this album, we get to follow like the origin story of this majesty in this universe and why he sets out to take over the world and leave the world in a state of necrocracy, basically.
I love the cover art, and I don't know who had the idea on like the Spotify of the worms actually dropping as the songs play.
That's cool. Yeah.
Does she have a name, that lady, or that turns into the eye?
Yeah, she is a character called Neglecticon, which is
Neglecticon.
the Majesty's mother.
Gotcha.
I love that. It sounds like kind of one of those things that the Transformers.
Yeah.
Break out the Neglecticon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And the whole thing about that is, I mean, it sort of has to do with Transformers, I guess, because well, we have these like religious paintings that are typically called icons, and we kind of wanted to resemble that a bit with this cover art. But or how should I put this? On the front cover, that's what you have seen with all the worms and stuff. But on the back cover, she looks normal. So this front art is basically what has happened when this lady has been buried and the worms have started to taking her over, basically.
Okay, gotcha. So are you planning on, is each album going to kind of jump in time? Like, or will time go backwards, or like, have you thought about the timeline of the story for the future?
So for future albums, I'm not sure if it's going to be set in the same realm or not. I have some vague ideas of what I want to write about, but it's too early to tell if it can be fitted into the same realm or if I even want to, or to start
Yeah.
fresh.
And this
So
could be
we'll see.
Yeah.
the end of the trilogy, possibly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Possible.
your lyrics are more entertaining than a lot of Hollywood movies. I mean,
Thank you so much.
really, really are.
Yeah, I
They
love
would
the
have
idea
been the
of
same.
inility. I mean, it's not even really a word, but you sort of understand what it means. And I have to tell you, I work for an eye doctor, and I think I might have to get up that poster of that ever-flowing
The
eye.
yeah.
What's that kind of symbolizing?
So the eye is, I think in the lyrics we call it the eye of misfortune, and it's basically just to symbolize weird visions and deliriums, and it has to do a bit with alchemy and stuff. It drips down this greenish goo or whatever that symbolizes stuff. I'm getting lost in track here.
Yeah, it's heady stuff. I was having a hard time keeping track of it. I'm like, wait, all right, so prequel.
Yeah.
All right. I think every time I thought I got my head around it, I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, it's a bit of the same thing for me because it goes deeper than I always remember. So sometimes when I read along to like practice our songs, I realize that, oh shit, yeah, that's reconnecting to this part from this 3 albums back, So it's all intertwined in ways I forget as well.
At some point, you'll have to sit down and do a graphic novel of like the whole.
Yeah, like that would
That
be
would be awesome.
cool.
We'll have to contact the Game of Thrones guy
Yeah.
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 or whatever. Like,
Yeah, was it pre-planned when you did Infinity that there would be a prequel, or did it kind of just happen?
It kind of just happened. Or I mean, since we had Dogma of the Deceased and we were just cast into this realm, I sort of wanted to explain and expand upon it, I guess.
Yeah, it's
So,
a neat
yeah, just
story.
took it from there.
So, how does everyone kind of contribute as far as writing? I know you were saying that you kind of write at home and then reconvene. Is it more like file swapping, or do you kind of work on things separately and then get together and see how it goes, or how does it go?
Yes. So basically, as I said, most ideas start with me, I would
with
say.
you.
Yeah, some riff idea or whatever. But I mean, we all contribute. I mean, it's not at all just me who writes a music, but it just starts that way. And then the rest of the guys they all write their part, and then we have we meet up and discuss a song or an idea, or we see each other in the rehearsal space and try something out and go from there.
We jam a lot too. You like find stuff like the old school way as well, and we
Yeah.
incorporate it in the Guitar Pro tablature, but yeah, it's like a mix of everything, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean the Guitar Pro way, it's just so convenient to
Yeah.
like write everything down, and you have it there, and you can send it around. You can pass these ideas around, and hey, I want a harmony there. Yeah, I can just type it in the computer, and there we go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's such an important tool
Convenient.
for us
Yeah.
actually, for how we develop our music. But then again, when you do tablature software, I mean, there's no voice, so Jonathan's stuff always comes later when we do pre-production and stuff, and when that's get passed around, then we might figure out that that riff needs to change, or this should be a few bars longer, or that part, we cut that part out. And stuff like that. So I mean, we still have some old school way of doing it, but we definitely use modern tools to write the music.
Yeah, for sure. The best thing with Guitar Pro for me is that I can hear the song before it's recorded because I'm fucking stupid. So it's great. And like with the I think it's so good. I don't know if I could do it. Like you could do like fucking pre-production, but that takes time and just to have the song there. You said, Richard?
No, I just can say because you practice to the guitar profiles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also
throw a click on it and just play it.
Do you guys have any formal music training, or did you all just like learn from listening to Entombed records and shit?
Like both for me.
Both.
I
Yeah.
took classes, but then I quit because it became like a school. But I guess
really?
it helped.
So how long did you how long did you go to school?
When I was a kid, I took like two years of like of drum lessons, and that helped me understand like note, like what do you call it? You know, I learned the basics, but I started to play drums when I was like 5, 6, and then I started taking classes when I was like 10, 11, 12 maybe, something like that, and then I quit. But then I already knew how to play the double bass and shit by then, so I thought it was boring as shit as well to like play Smelt Like Teen Spirit and shit. I wanted to learn Nile and shit.
Yeah.
Did you get to
But
pick
yeah,
what you played, or
it
did your
helped, I'm
teacher
sure.
pick?
Huh?
Did you get to pick what you played, or did your teacher like, you're gonna play this?
I had a great teacher who enjoyed death metal, and he taught me some like blast beat tricks that has helped me to this day. So I'm glad I did it. But there's people who did it all their lives that you can tell they like. I wish I hung in there with the lessons.
Yeah.
But
You're an
then in
absolute
like
beast.
in high school and shit, we took music high school. That's how we met, most of us.
Yeah.
yes. So we yes, some of us went to the same school, and that's how we met. And now I regret that I didn't pay too much attention, or not enough attention back in school, because some of that music theory stuff would really
Would've
help
helped.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you listened. I didn't listen at all. You listened a lot. I didn't listen at all.
Yeah, but I could have
It's the
listened
age.
more.
It's the
Yeah.
age. Yeah.
And I tried to
Yeah.
listen, but it never got to me. So
Yeah.
we all have some sort of like musical like studies in the back, but I would say, at least for me, like I can I learn better just looking up things by myself and trying to learn by that.
Yeah.
Other than going by the few things that I know. So.
Yeah, like my guitar teacher was trying to get me to learn all these jazz chords after the first year. And I remember one day I was like, look, I'm not paying you for jazz. I want to learn fucking Van Halen riffs and shit. And that's what we're gonna do, you know. And the thing is, and then years later I heard like a guitar player like Danny Gatton, who was so amazing playing jazz and rock together. And again, I wish I would have hung in there.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're in your late teens, early 20s, you know, you don't have a lot of patience at that age. You know?
No.
Yeah.
Just wanna make the guitar.
That's
Just
right.
tap the.
Make some noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays what impresses me is like guys and girls and people who can fucking who knows like everything, like jazz drummers, all this. They're so on point. Like they paid attention all their life. I did not.
Exactly.
So a lot of bands that have, you know, two guitars, the bass ends up getting lost in the mix, but that doesn't happen here. You know, you can really hear the bass even though there's a lot more going on. Is that intentionally done, or do you have a secret sauce for that one?
Remember, we don't have a bass player, remember.
Yeah, so I'm kind of freebase an answer here, just improvise.
There you go,
yeah. We want it to be audible, obviously, but since he is basically rooted in like progressive metal and stuff like that, he plays the lines. He doesn't just follow the riffs all the time, so it automatically sticks out, you know.
No, it's great. Yeah, so many death metal albums have so many guitar tracks that it buries the bass and the dynamic range, but you guys don't have that. It's nice. It's really nice. Yeah. I guess it's an easy trap to fall into, you know. So,
yeah, definitely.
So I also love that you did the instrumental version of the Visions of Infinite. I always want to say Infinity.
Infinity.
Are you planning
I can
on
say it
doing?
either.
It's like I have to like think about it, because your brain wants to go somewhere else.
Yep.
Are you planning on doing one for Wormtales as well? Just the instrumental?
Ricky,
We
right?
probably
With the
need
label.
to negotiate with our label about that.
Yeah. Because Visions was we dropped that independently, so we could do what we wanted, whatever we wanted with it. So we decided to do that, and this time it's different because this time it's like for real, like on a label, and contract.
But you never know.
Be signed. But yeah, we would love to.
Yeah, I liked your little explanation about, you know, in case you want it without screaming, or if you want to provide your own screaming. That was great. But it does help you appreciate like a little bit of more nuances. I like it. It's something not done as much over here.
Yeah.
So this one, I thought the themes were a little bit darker than the last one. And it's like, you know, with the people tend to have weird things about like being buried and eaten by worms, which technically is a normal process, right? But you know, some people be in mausoleums because they don't want to be in the ground, or cremate me because I'm not getting eaten by bugs. Why do you think people are so worried about their corpse? It's weird.
Yeah, I guess it is weird. I mean,
I say
it isn't.
Frank in Always Sunny. Just throw me in the trash.
Exactly. That's how I feel too.
In the trash.
They have a weird thing in this country where you can donate your body to like this body farm where they do nothing but have bodies in different states of composition, like underwater, partially submerged, partially covered, completely covered, so they can learn to do forensics for murders and stuff.
That's
it's really interesting. Yeah.
I thought that was a good way to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, but I loved some of the darker themes here. You know, with did anyone ever say, no, this is too dark, or no, let's push the envelope a little more? I think it was a good mix what you did though.
Yeah, I guess we didn't want to go too far from visions, like with everything, but we wanted to do a darker one this time, and yeah, I think we hit the sweet spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so something we talked about before we started production of Wormtales was just this, more darker, both lyric-wise and music-wise. You can probably tell the guitar tone is a bit more gritty, and I think Jonathan's voice also is a bit darker and has more grit to it on this album.
Just dirty, everything.
Yeah. I
like
mean,
it's been in the
still a
ground with a
clean.
worm.
Yeah, it's still a clean production, modern death metal album. But I mean, compared to other stuff released today, I mean, we wanted to
Our
try
earlier
to.
stuff compared to that, it's just grittier, as you said.
Yeah, compared to like all the other tech death, super modern bands that release albums nowadays, like I would say that the sound of this album really sticks out. And I don't recall ever there being a situation where we were like, this is too dark, or like almost like this is too technical at sometimes, or something. But yeah, I would say it was pretty fluent all like the whole process.
Yeah, and I think I agree that we ended up with an album that sort of sticks out a bit, because the folks that listen to like modern tech death, they think this one sounds too old school, but those that listen to more old school metal thinks it's too modern. So it's I guess it is really in between.
Yeah.
And then the circles like hit in the middle, and that's our fan.
Yeah.
I got
It's
it.
interesting though, because like weren't all three of the last records done at the same studio?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So right, so the change or the evolution must just be you guys just from practicing and developing your craft then, right? Because everything else is the same, right?
Yeah.
Like different amps and shit, but
Yeah.
But yeah, and our producer Rob Kukla, who we worked with, as you said, these 3 albums, he's also developed a lot over this year. So we have.
We grew up together.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So how far do you guys all live from each other? Are you guys all in the same town or pretty close, or?
Me and the drummer, probably like 7 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm more on the countryside, and
yeah, but I mean, we all live in a 1.5 hour drive from each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I know I had wanted to ask you about Worm Charmer. I love the idea, the guitars in that one, and I couldn't decide if it was, the word charmer. It almost reminded me of like a snake charmer music.
Yeah.
Was I onto something there, or was I interjecting something?
Like an Eastern melody? Yeah.
Yeah, there is a practice that's called worm charming.
Oh.
Like driving earthworms up from the soil, like so they come up.
Wow.
And that's basically what the whole thing is based on. And I guess some of the riffs too, maybe, to have them a bit charming.
Yeah, I mean, but because Jonathan, you and me talked about it when you presented the song titles for the album.
Yeah,
and I thought the same as you there, that it really worked with the slower paced riff, and it's really like the snake,
Got that
snake
undulating.
charming.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, so that's definitely something we have thought about as well. Yeah.
I wonder what kind of training you need to become a worm charmer. What kind of schooling does it require?
Yeah,
It
interesting.
has to be somewhere in India or some shit, like
Yeah.
right next to the snake charming school. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's a side
I'm
gig.
sure that's a
It has
hello
to be.
ladies at the bar,
Yeah.
a worm charmer.
What do you do
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
living?
that's
Oh,
what
you
they
don't
do
want
on
to know.
Tuesday, and every other day they snake charm.
Yeah.
So at the end of it, you actually talk about drinking the worm. Of course, all I could think about was the tequila worm. Is that symbolic of something?
It does not have to do with tequila at all.
Okay.
That's the only
so,
worm
like,
I ever drank.
I see. So like in the first half of the album, we sort of get to know how this majesty is the result of a failed abortion, and the mother is buried, and the child is buried, and this ancient prophecy of the birthless heir that is whispered among the worms starts to like grow, and the worms sort of indoctrinate and nourish this infant to sort of lures it into the prophecy to fulfill it, and it causes all these kind of deliriums and stuff, and then we again head into alchemy and things like that, and it sort of results in the elixir of suffering, and it's just a delirium. So I mean, it may not technically be literally drinking a worm, it's more so like letting the worms take over, basically.
Drinking the idea of the worm.
Yeah.
What is all that crackling at the beginning of Birthless?
It's worms.
That's the worm.
That's
Yeah.
worms.
Worm.
They're very
We're
hungry.
not gonna tell you. We're not gonna tell you what you're hearing. It's worms. Just
I mean,
trust us.
I could tell them. Should I?
It's no fun. That's
Yeah,
no
don't tell
fun.
us.
I don't even know.
It's
Okay, I'm gonna
Foley
tell you.
artist secrets, right?
Yeah, so this is exclusive content right here. That's just me putting a fork in, I don't know what you call it in English, but macaronis that has been like cooked in milk.
Boiled in milk. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Macaroni and cheese.
really slimy.
Yeah.
I
I
love
can see that. Yeah. Okay.
That reminds me of the haunted house stuffs where you have to put your
Yeah.
fingers in
Yeah,
noodles
That's the
and
idea,
peeled
yeah.
grapes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Well,
Well,
the macaroni. Check it out.
yeah. All right. So we play a game on the show, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. The game's called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. And the way that it works is I have 5 band names in front of me. One of them is fake. One of them is not a real band. So I'll read these off to you, and then you guys guess which one you think is made up.
Are
Okay.
these made like well-known bands, or
Not
are
at all.
there
Not at all.
everything? They
Easy,
can have
easy.
like 2 likes on Facebook, and they could be in there.
Probably,
Okay.
if that.
Okay,
Yeah, so-
all right.
But one of them is not real. 4 of them are real. One of them's not. So, okay. So, Kung Fu Preacher, Chaos Preacher, Sadistic Preacher, Suicidal Preacher, and Filthy Rich Preacher. So, which one of those you think might not be real?
I'm gonna go with 5.
Which one?
The last one.
Filthy Rich Preacher?
Yeah.
They are industrial metal from the Ukraine. They have 2 full lengths and 3 EPs. Like they actually have quite a discography, despite the terrible name. So
Can I try it?
I would have said Kung Fu Preacher, but
Ah.
that sounds like probably a hardcore band.
it's goth metal from Dallas, Texas. They
Goth
have 2
metal,
full
okay.
lengths. Kung
Really?
Fu Preacher.
Suicidal Preacher would have been my guess.
Which one?
Suicidal Preacher.
Suicidal. They're death metal from San Diego. They have 1 EP.
Oh shit!
Sadistic Preacher is the one I made up. So
You made that up?
Fuck.
That's the one
That
that
actually
sounds
sounds-
the
was
most
made
like a
up,
band.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that sounds legitimate. Actually,
I know I was shocked that there's no band called Sadistic Preacher. I
Yeah,
kept
I was-
putting it into Metal Archives and coming up nothing. So
The best one was fucking fake. What's up with that? Sorry,
Yeah,
all of you. I'm
I always
sure
say, like-
all of your bands are great.
I always say, like, these bands, like on some of these band names, I'm just thinking, did somebody just take 5 minutes and go, yep, that'll work? You know, I mean, this is important stuff, you know?
Have you seen our fucking band name?
Hey, I love your band name. It's a glimmer from Carcass. I love it. So, you know.
It's a bunch of 13-year-olds with Google. That's what that is.
Yep.
We interviewed Dan Liker from Nuclear Assault a few weeks ago. He said that there used to be a band that he ran into that was called Unregistered Sex Offender. And he said that is such a great name, you don't even need a logo.
Yeah.
True.
Just
Yeah. I could never top
Unregistered.
that.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know I definitely wanted to ask you about paradoxical impulse, because being in the medical field, I know there's a condition where inexplicably a person's blood pressure will drop when they inhale. Did it have anything to do with that, or?
I didn't know that.
see.
That whole thing with the paradoxical impulse, it's basically just a wording to describe an impulse or the desire for death with a simultaneous desire for immortality.
Never have both, can you?
Exactly.
So
Or
you
can
weren't
you?
you weren't pulling down the medical journals to write the lyrics.
No,
They-
not really.
Yeah, it's this weird condition where somebody's blood drops every time their blood pressure plummets every time they inhale.
Wow.
It's like
It doesn't
weird.
sound fun at all.
There's all kinds of fun things, working for an eye doctor. There's something called a vagus nerve, and
Yep.
some people are very susceptible. And sometimes if you touch someone's eye, they just faint. It's the weirdest thing. I mean,
That's
Really?
wild.
I'm like,
Okay.
every now and then I'm like, oh, he'll come running out, call 911. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good day.
Like a reverse X-Men. The worst X-Men.
Yeah. So I want to ask about the video.
Oh, yeah.
The live vocal that you filmed, it looked like you were in a canyon or something. Where was that filmed?
The vocal standalone.
Yeah. That's a standalone vocal, yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know, maybe an hour and a half drive from where I live, and it's just an old what's it called? Gruvor, vad heter det?
Mine.
Yeah, an old mine complex
Okay.
for
That's-
like
that's what it-
limestone, I think.
That's what I figured. Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah, it turned out really good. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
the Within Throat, Within Heart video, how did that shoot go, and what was the experience like?
So basically, one day we remembered that we had to produce some kind of video for a
Our
release.
label had told us to record these
Yeah.
videos. We're like, yeah, man. And then we kind of
No,
forgot. And then we
So we
Yeah,
went
continue.
to IKEA and bought black bed sheets that we hung up in our rehearsal space, and then we just brought the GoPro and shooted each other while playing
we
through the
just shot-
songs, and then just
yeah.
edited. So I mean, really do-it-yourself stuff
Yeah.
and saving money.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it
we hear
took
that a lot.
maybe 2-3 days to get everyone filmed and edited and shit. I think 3-4 days.
Yeah.
We hear that a lot. Like, even if you're on a big label like Century Media or Nuclear Blast, something like that, a lot of bands will tell us, yeah, we had 1 week to do that video. It's very common, I guess. They don't give you a lot of notice.
We definitely
Yeah,
had
we
noticed.
had noticed. We just didn't do it for so long.
Oh, see, I was giving
we
you an
had to
out there.
fund it.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
they
put it
should
out
have
there.
took it.
Yeah. But I think it turned out great, better than I thought it would. I
Yeah,
didn't.
it's
I didn't
the
think
first
it would
time we
turn
did
out
it, so-
bad, but
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good for being bed sheets and a GoPro.
Yeah. It turned out really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we have an IKEA here. I get hives just thinking about putting that furniture together.
Really? Yeah.
God, it's just all these Allen wrenches and wood, and I scratching my head and reading the directions again. It's like, oh,
Fucking Ingvar Kamprad.
As
It's all.
Swedes, as Swedes, you got to remember that IKEA is like
It's the only religion we have in Sweden.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, the only active religion, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I love that store, but it always looks so good on the showroom floor, and you get it home, and it's like the box weighs 300 pounds. We
Yeah.
always go back anyway.
2 hours of all the swear words, you know.
Yeah. See, like if you ask me, like what are the first things I think of when I think of Sweden? IKEA wouldn't even make the top 10. I would be like,
Oh, really?
Nick Anderson, Mickey D,
Hell yeah.
Entombed, like it would be like number 20 on my list,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm Swedish and I didn't step foot in an IKEA until I was like 13. So
Yeah. Well, we
My
were
parents
interviewing
didn't.
we were interviewing what's her name from Lucifer? I forget what's her name?
Johanna.
Joanna from Lucifer.
Mm.
And I asked her, I said, what's it like in Stockholm? Do you just like bump into rock stars everywhere you go? Is it just where all of a sudden you're like, there's Mickey D, there's Dragon? She's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's like, I guess the Sunset Strip here, sort of from a rock standpoint, so.
Yeah, if
It's
you live in
close.
Stockholm, that's like a Swedish celebrity, like if
Yeah.
you want to see them, if you give a shit about that stuff.
Yeah.
But all of them are there, like even metal ones, or Gothenburg, I guess, with the metal ones.
Yeah.
Me and Richard saw Fallujah in Stockholm for like, I think it was in April sometime. And we told him like, yeah, you're gonna meet, like, we saw Lord Arman from Dark Funeral just when we went to the venue. And he said, and I quote, "This is like death metal Disneyland." It basically is.
Yeah, if you go to a show in Stockholm or Gothenburg, it's pretty guaranteed at least a couple ones.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So what kind of tour plans do you guys have in the hopper, if any, or festivals?
We have some early stage planning for May 2025 and a festival in March with Bloodbath, which is going to be awesome.
Oh, cool.
Fucking cool. Yeah.
But it's all in Europe for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're still working on being able to plan to go to the States.
Yeah.
We weren't even able to plan at this point with all the visa shit, but it's of course on the horizon. We wanna go over to the States. That's the dream.
Yeah. I know it's expensive, you need 5 people and all the instruments and
Yep.
all the
Oh,
planning.
Yeah.
Well, now that Trump's in office, well,
Don't go there.
it ought to be, easy to get visas now.
Yeah, I listened to this podcast where this guy, he's a black metal dude, but he talks politics. And he said he came over for MDF and he wanted to talk to everyone about the election. And he said, the Americans, every time I tried to bring it up, they
Yeah,
just
we don't
were
want
like,
to talk about it.
we don't want to talk about it.
Mhm.
I was thinking, yeah, we don't. I don't want to talk
We
about it.
don't.
We're
But-
tired of it here,
But
Yeah.
your election cycles are like 1.5 year long. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
in Europe, our elections cycles are like 3 weeks, and before these 3 weeks, that's basically no political advertising
Yeah.
or shit. But U.S. election.
No one believes
cycles.
any of it. No one believes
No.
any of it either. Like if you ask one side, they're ahead 5%, and if you ask the other side, they're ahead 5%. And so no one has any faith in the numbers at all here. I'm
Anyway,
just so
yeah.
tired of it. Yeah.
Can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so hopefully we can lure you over here to a Maryland Death Festival and see you guys in person.
That'd be great. Yeah.
That will be
Yeah,
so
we love
fucking
that.
cool. Yeah, we will love that.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're in Baltimore. We're right here every year. So God, it's
Yeah.
like I love going, but after 3 days, I'm always glad it's a day off with Memorial Day because everything on me hurts from walking and
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
I was listening to you guys like on my commute, like to and from work, and it was like awesome. It's great commute driving, especially with little road rage incidents. We're just like you don't care anymore.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
if you guys want to start up a side project called Sadistic Preacher, have at it.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
We'll pay you royalties.
Absolutely.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.